What up, YouTube Digital? Damn thing wasn't even recording. I unplugged my camera and plugged it back in, and it wasn't even recording audio. Motherfucker. Anyways, Corey C's uh, did some videos about college, and I pretty much agree with them. There are a lot of careers that you still have to have it just coming out of it, but there are plenty of jobs you could do without college, or at least get your foot in the door. You know, nowadays, these kids are, if you're a parent, you need to really get back on these kids, man. Because these kids are 18, 19, they don't know what the fuck they're going to do with their life. And I understand that, yeah, you might not know that you want to be a biologist or whatever, but you should have some sort of fucking idea. These kids don't. They don't know the fuck anything. You know, you'd be lucky if these kids know if they want to be blue collar or white collar. They don't know. So, yeah. It's, this needs to get back. I mean, all these stupid, I think the career guidance counselors have fucked everything all up. I think, teachers have fucked everything all up. But I think parents have also fucked shit up. They haven't sat there with their kid and told them the real life. You know, the kids are still spoon-fed the bullshit of how so-called life works. And it's not the real life. Nothing that my career counselor told me was real. Fuck that bullshit. Okay, you know, here, this is just my opinion. I'm going to try to do this as fast as I possibly can. It's a lot of information in a very short period of time. But first off, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to, you know, if you want to work blue collar, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, get your ass out there and work. You know, there are some careers that you could just get out and do. There are some careers that you can't. Now, if you want to be in automotive, go get a job at Jiffy Lube while you're going to school. You know, and do a program, do the cheapest, you know, program school that you can do within reason. You know, don't go to one that just completely sucks ass, but, you know, don't be an idiot and go spend 80 grand on one. If you want to get a construction, well, what part? Maybe you don't know. That's okay. You know, get into one that's doing good right now and bust your ass. You may go in as a plumber and find out you want to actually build cabinets. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. You know, people are told, like, you know, they think like what you do, if you go to college, that's what you have to be the rest of your life or whatever. That's bullshit. You know, you could change careers and all that other crap. Don't let that bullshit, you know, do it. The worst thing you can do in life is procrastinate. Is to sit there and get into a piece of shit job and be in there for 10 years and then realize that you want to do something else. It's okay if you went to train. I'm not talking about like if you became a mechanic or you know, a construction worker because you learned something. I'm talking about the people that, you know, do the basic jobs like Walmart or janitorial or something like that. Then you'll say, well, did you? Well, you did janitorial forever. And I'll say, yes, I did. But I also started when the company was only making $30,000 a year. And I got the other person to quit. I'm not going to say how because that was pretty fucked up what I did. But I got the other person to quit, and then once I took over, I turned that company up to the point where the owner was doing nothing but signing paychecks and depositing $10,000 to $15,000 into his personal account every month because of shit I did. So, no, I wasn't just doing janitorial. I was busting my motherfucking ass. And I was hustling my motherfucking ass. Um, so no, I made him a shit ton of money. And, to be all honest, he should have acknowledged it. He should have paid me more, especially after the accident, to keep me on. But he didn't, and I left. So it was his loss. The company went under after I left. And again, this is a good friend of mine too. So that fucks a lot of shit up. But I had to do what I had to do. I wasn't getting paid enough at all for what he was getting paid for doing nothing, and my back wasn't going to do it anymore. So I would have had to been office only and just done the hustling part. But yeah, I got myself out of it as soon as it became dead end for me. You can't work at Walmart for like 10 years and then complain about it's not feeding your family. It's not supposed to feed your family. It's an entry job. That's all it is. That's all it will ever be. Janitorial, until you break it into management and all that other bullshit and the company gets big enough, it's an entry job. That's all it will be. Because most of the times they don't get as big as the one that we had. They don't specialize between automobiles and scraping brains off the wall. So yeah, it's yeah. But anywho, if you go on blue collar and you don't know, try to get the best job you possibly can. You'd be surprised at how many cities hire people to mow grass for $20 an hour. Garbage men. Get into that. Figure out what you want to be. Maybe you surprise yourself and stay in it. But do the best that you possibly can. And understand that one of the drawbacks of blue collar work is being laid off in the winter. So keep that in mind. White collar work. People think you have to have a degree. Yeah, that's bullshit. I thought so. And I proved myself wrong. And I was afraid to take the dive into white collar work because I was afraid that without me having college I couldn't do it. And I was wrong. I was completely wrong. Now that came because I went to a high school that was, everybody knew what the high school was, and people would label people that go there, gang members and future jailers, inmates and shit like that. So you didn't get the best confidence boost coming out of the school. And so I had confidence issues about going into the white collar world, but I was totally wrong. If you want to go white collar, there are plenty of areas where you could get in the door without having college. Now, I'm at a point in my career that if I want to go higher, I'm going to need a degree. It's not the fact that I'll know more by a degree. It's the fact that the vice presidents and presidents and CEOs and all these fuckers, they are pissed off that they had to get a degree, and they are still forcing the directors and everything above that to have a degree. So it's just how it is. But it doesn't mean I can't go to work. It doesn't mean I can't make money and then go to University of Phoenix. If you have to go to college, that's okay. But you need to make sure what you're going for is going to pay you. Most of these people who go to college, they go in, they get their general ed done, they still don't know what they're going to do. And they just kind of fall into something because they took enough of the classes that, if they go this route, it's going to be the least number of classes they'll need to get their degree. So they fall into it. And then when they get out, it doesn't pan out for them. And then they go and protest in the Occupy movement saying that schooling costs too much. You're the one that wasted a degree. No one else did. So if you're going to get, especially if you're going to get student loans, you need to make sure that every penny that you're paying is going to give you something back. And really, when you're looking at colleges that, 2,500 to 10 grand a semester, compared to junior colleges that are 250 to 1,000 a semester, where's what's better? It's probably better to start off at junior college and then have to get your GE down for like $2,500, if that, then go to, college and finish up what you're going to be. That's probably the best route to go. Or you could go to University of Phoenix if you're already working. That way you could do the work online and, it's still being, done. Now, a lot of people say shit about University of Phoenix, but I'll tell you this. There's a lot of corporations out there that are using University of Phoenix to set up their own internal training. And my company is one of them. They use University of Phoenix to come up with mass training training exercises. So if we need to be trained on a HIPAA update, they'll set up a training method which will be, something over the internet, and we will do it and everything else, but University of Phoenix will set up the program. Now, a lot of these companies are doing this. If you're afraid that your company may not like it, talk to your HR manager and say, look, I'm thinking about going back to school, and I'm thinking about going to University of Phoenix. What does insert name of corporation think about degrees from University of Phoenix? Do they hold them as any other degree? And you'll find out whether or not it's worthy enough. But a lot of state colleges and stuff are also going online, so you might have an option there. The other thing with the University of Phoenix is a lot of time they can convert work experience to credits. So if I wanted to get a BA in insurance management or something like that, if I got my GE from a junior college and then did the work experience thing, they'd probably whack off 50% of what I need to graduate. It won't be all of it, but it'd be a lot of it. And so I'm only paying for 50% of a year, so maybe a semester or two. And I'm getting a degree. The other thing is most corporations will pay for your schooling. They will reimburse for classes that you get a C or better that directly, relate to your job. Well, most of the classes will. So you got to look at your programs. Right, if you work in a white-collar world, most often you deal with Microsoft, Office. So you could do your GE at junior, and when you get into some of the other classes that you need for a business degree, you might not get all of them reimbursed, but you can get all your Offices, your Excel and Word and all that. You can get all that stuff reimbursed from your work. Drawback: they reimburse you the next semester because you got to show them a report card. So keep that in mind. You go that route, now your company is reimbursing you some. So you're going to college on the cheap. So you're going to college, for 5 to 10 grand less than most people are. Actually, probably less. Junior college at 2,500, and you got what, maybe, depending on how fast you do that, a year or two. So you got about 3 to 4 semesters in college, and you could probably get 1 to 2 of those semesters covered by your employer. So you're only paying, 2 to 3 grand for that last year, maybe 5. But that's better than these people paying 80. So do the numbers, figure this shit out. And most of those reimbursements start even at the lowest levels of the corporations. So if you're in a mailroom, most likely you could still do it. And if they don't, a lot of companies, you could petition. Like if you're in a mailroom and you want to get a BA in business, you could say, look, yes, I am in a mailroom, but these classes will directly reflect, the opportunities I want to, advance in the company. And they may do a deal with you saying, okay, we'll cover them, but if you leave the company, you need to reimburse us. I doubt. I've heard of them doing it. I don't know how many will, how many won't, but still, fight for it. Do whatever you can for them to do it. Be smarter. People will sit there and say, not being a slave would be not owning a credit card. That's bullshit. It's not about owning a credit card or not. It's about how you use the system. If you use the system for yourself, that's not being a slave. That's being smart. If you just go through life and just go through the motions, graduate high school, go to college, waste 80 grand because you're out partying every weekend, get out, have no job, have student loans out the ass and everything else, that's being a slave. Now, with the student loan things, people have asked how to get out of them. There are some degrees that if you become like a lawyer and stuff and you get picked up by a big time firm, a lot of them will pay back. They'll usually do it year by year. So if you work for them a year, they'll pay a year, stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. The only other way I've heard, and do not do this. Do not. Especially if you don't know what you're doing. I've heard of people that are getting close to bankruptcy, transfer as much as they can to credit cards and then bankrupting out. You gotta be extremely careful when you do that because that could be construed as fraud, and that's bad. Okay? I've heard people doing this. It's not something you gotta be when you go to file bankruptcy. First off, lawyers won't touch you if you got under 20K. Most of them won't touch you if you have under 40. But you can't have any major purchases within the last 6 months. You can't have any major transfers or withdrawals or anything. So don't go and do all this shit and then 2 minutes later file BK because it's fraud. Don't be fooled. So, that's something, maybe, I don't know if these people are doing it and then sitting on it for a year, then filing BK, but they're trying to make payments on their credit card, so they're trying to do it and then filing BK. I'm not sure, but I've heard of it. That's the only way, because you can't BK out of student loans. You can't do it. Taxes, you could do an offer to compromise. Student loans, no. You owe it. That's it. Till you die, you owe it. So, they'll take it out of your taxes, they'll take it out of your paycheck, blah, blah, blah. So, keep that in mind. If you go to college, don't be an idiot and charge up 80 grand for a degree that doesn't do anything. If you go for college, you better make sure whatever you get pays you at least what you paid for it every year. So if you paid 40 grand for college, you better make sure that degree pays you 40 grand a year plus. So, anywho, that's my 2 cents on college and stuff like that. So, peace.